gotten to the first question. Yeah?
I was thirsty.
I've noticed, yeah. Hi y'all, welcome back to Makeup Mystery. My name is Nicole and I'm here with my friend Chris. All right, I'm really excited because we are doing Roanoke today, and it's a topic that I've written multiple papers on. I've studied a lot. I'm really passionate about it, and it's one of my favorite unsolved mysteries. I'm hyped. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. How much do you know about Roanoke?
I'll be honest. Going into this, I knew nothing about it. I knew it was an island famous for something, but beyond that, I knew nothing until recently, until having to research, and I kind of dove into it a little bit because I found it pretty fascinating.
Okay.
So I did some research, watched some videos. And,
okay. How often do you get your makeup done? That's the real question.
Never.
I thought you were gonna come up with an actual number, the way you thought about it.
I mean, every now and then I'll go get some face treatments because treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
But
that's fair, because you're a Taurus.
I am a Taurus.
Very Taurus thing to do. So let me explain how this is gonna work. I'm gonna do Chris's makeup and tell him the story of Roanoke. Throughout, I'm gonna ask him a few questions. If he gets the question right, we will use the high-end, name brand, recognizable brand makeup to complete whatever look I feel like doing today. But if he gets the question wrong, then we will use less recognizable brands. And they're from places like Claire's or Five Below, or even Dollar General. So hopefully we can avoid those.
What's worse, Dollar General or Claire's? I know nothing about any of this makeup.
They're all pretty rough because they all have a lot of I probably should maybe sign a waiver or something saying you're not going to sue me when you get the world's worst eye infection.
I stare directly at you while you do this.
Please don't. It's so uncomfortable. We are going to start on May 8th, 1587. About 120 settlers left from England en route to the New World. And I say that in quotes because it's not the New World. They just stole land from other people, but that's another video for another time. Around July 1587, they landed on the coast of what is now known as North Carolina. So they were trying to actually go further inland, but whoever was navigating for them hit that island on the side of North Carolina, and he was kind of just yeah, I'm done. He didn't push them any further. He was yeah, we hit something. So
somebody wasn't using their Google Maps.
Yeah, their trusty Google Maps in the 1500s. So the governor of this new colony, his name was John White, and he had a rough start getting this colony together. There were immediately within the first month attacks by local Native Americans, as there would be because you just entered their home. They were already running out of food, and they didn't really know the land well enough to hunt or plant or do anything to really help themselves. And they needed tools that were only available in England. They needed food and supplies to make this colony work. And the colonists pleaded with John White to return to England and get more supplies, food, tools, more people too, in order to help the colony. So a month later, in August, John White sailed back to England, leaving behind a colony with between 112 and 120 colonists. I don't know exactly how many, including some important family members. And here we arrive at our first question. This is going to determine if we use our recognizable makeup palettes or less recognizable makeup palettes. So I'm going to show you the options. If you get the question right, and we use the recognizable ones, we will be using the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. This is everyone's classic favorite. I used to be addicted to this, admittedly. The Morphe Vintage Rose 9V palette. I can just tell that none of this means anything to you.
It looks fancy.
Because it is. The Jaclyn Hill 2 Morphe palette, which you've seen on this channel a bunch of times because I love it. And Be a Mermaid and Make Waves palette from Tarte. Also one of my favorites. This is a limited edition palette, so you can't even find it anymore unless you buy it for $150 on eBay. So I really hope you get this right because I want to use this on you because
me too.
Yeah, it's exclusive. Also, It smells like chocolate.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. But if you get the question wrong,
oh God,
this is what we're using.
It's behind door number 2.
Yeah, honestly. The W7 Life's a Peach palette from Five Below. Not my favorite. The LA Colors Berry Kiss palette from, I think, Dollar General. And the Be Kind and Beautiful palette from Claire's.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, your question. Which family member did John White not leave behind in Roanoke?
Okay.
So, did not leave behind.
Did not leave behind.
A, his mother. B, his daughter. C, his granddaughter. Or D, his wife.
So I know he left his daughter, Eleanor.
Oh, you know the names too. Okay.
I told you, I'd dove into this a little bit. His granddaughter, Virginia, was the firstborn.
Okay, I need you to not get ahead
Well,
of
I
me.
haven't got this right yet.
Okay.
I'm just eliminating the ones. So his wife or his mother was the one that he did not leave behind.
So your answer is A, his mother.
Yeah.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Are you sure?
No, but you can't play these games with me.
Okay. I really think you're overthinking it. Just based off of what you read, I think you just...
Okay, I just don't remember hearing anything about his mother, so I'm going to say he did not leave his mother behind.
Okay.
That's my final answer.
All right. That's correct.
Oh, thank God. Oh, my
That's the
God.
thing where you like started second guessing yourself. I was like, no, you got it. You got it. Yeah, we're good.
I remember reading about his daughter and his granddaughter, but the dude left his wife behind?
Yeah.
That's messed up.
So he didn't take a lot of people back. Like he took like the navigators and himself, and like all the colonists who came like stayed. So he really only needed people for like navigation. And like keep in mind, he thought he was only going to be gone. It's like I think 2 months or something to sail. So he thought he was going to be gone for like 4 months or so. When White sailed back to England, he left his wife and his daughter, Eleanor Dare, behind. Eleanor had just given birth to his granddaughter named Virginia Dare. Yeah, like you said, the first person of European descent born in America. So that's cool for her. So the universe was not really looking out for John White. When he returned to England, he found out that England was on the verge of a war with Spain, who happened to have like a really strong armada at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they started a siege, meaning that White could not leave for 3 years. So he originally thought he was going to be gone for like 4 months max.
Mm-hmm.
And then it slowly but surely turned into 3 whole years. So he returned finally to Roanoke in August of 1590 and discovered that the colony had basically vanished. So when John White returned, he found that the colony was abandoned. There were practically no traces of the over 100 settlers that were left behind. There was also no evidence of widespread violence, so they didn't see like, bodies everywhere and arrows or whatever. And the only thing that they found was a word carved into a tree. And this is our second question. This is going to determine whether or not I can continue with my Morphe Eye Obsessed brushes, or if I have to use the Claire's brushes that came in that sad palette.
They're like paint brushes?
Basically. What word was carved into the tree?
Croatoan.
Okay, I'm very proud.
I will say I did not know that before reading about it. I mean, but if you don't know anything about Roanoke already, you're not really going to know that. But after studying it, that is a very important key fact of the whole story. Like they come back and they find this word carved in a tree. Okay, well, you did get it right. So we're going to continue how we planned, and that's great. That makes me happy. So thank you for that. The word Croatoan, as well as the letters C-R-O, was etched into the side of a tree, leading White to think that the colony moved to Croatoan Island that was 50 miles away. But later, when he explored that island too, he didn't find any trace of them there either. Maybe this will be like your normal day off activity. And I can show you all the nice palettes to get and not Claire's. Although I have a firm belief that anyone who gets into makeup has to have a Claire's phase. I couldn't skip that phase.
No.
That's isn't that like a middle school kind of phase?
Yes, but that's where you learn, that's where you are humbled. So I am going to get into the theories of what happened to the colonists.
Yes.
I'm going to start with what is the most plausible, and then I'm going to go to what's the most ridiculous, or what I think is the most ridiculous. So we're just going to go further and further down.
Go with that.
So the prevailing theory is that after White left for England, the colony was attacked by Native Americans. And then those who survived the attack was taken into the tribe, but they were probably like war prisoners or slaves or something like that. There's speculation that most of the Roanoke settlers were later killed in 1607 by the Powhatan tribe. The tribe was led by Wahoo-Senakok. That was good. That was actually right. Okay.
I'm impressed.
And he ordered for the Roanoke settlers to be killed because he feared that the new Jamestown settlers would try to contact the old Roanoke settlers. And this is our last question. This is going to determine what kind of mascara you get. If you get this right, we will use the Lancome Monsieur Big mascara, which is one of my favorite mascaras in the entire world. Or we will use the L'Oreal Paris Lash Paradise, also known as the Better Than Sex mascara dupe that everyone knows about. Both of these are not bad. Just this one is drugstore. I know a lot of people use it, so they're probably going to be coming after me going, it's not bad, but whatever. Question number 3, who was Wahoo-Senakok related to? A, Pocahontas, B, Sacagawea, or C, Squanto?
Oh, we're going to go with A, Pocahontas.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay, good. That means we're going to use the Monsieur Big mascara, which makes me happy because it's my favorite. And you already have like ridiculously long and thick lashes, again, which makes me jealous. But
wait, I thought we weren't going to do the mascara.
We're not doing lashes. Always doing mascara. So,
Always.
There's 2 things in life you always do. It's prime and mascara. He was Pocahontas' father. So that was the prevailing theory, okay? Theory number 2, this theory is that the colony mostly died from disease. This would make sense because obviously they didn't have immunity to whatever diseases were out in North America. And they didn't have the supplies to like fend off a plague if that happened. That's why they sent White back. There were reports from Native Americans that some of the colonists were sick. We don't know like to what extent that means. We don't know if that's like allergies and coughing a little bit or like people dropping dead in the street. So, however, there's no explanation as to where the bodies went. In or near Roanoke, they never found any mass grave, which is why another reason why they don't think it was necessarily violence. They never found like a collection of a lot of bodies anywhere. So if people died from like the plague, you would see people, even if they didn't bury them, like you would still like find a lot of bodies around.
I don't think 3 years would be long enough for decomposition to really do its thing. And I mean, the bones for sure
would still be there. There was one more theory that almost all the colonists died in a Native American attack or a deadly storm. So that's a thing. I mean, hurricanes are very like common in North Carolina. And again, they wouldn't have had the supplies or like the shelter to really, when you're just like staring ahead.
Don't move a muscle.
Really wouldn't have had the supplies to like survive a storm. Or a significant attack. So some people think like the Native Americans attacked them and they didn't take prisoners and that's it. And some people think the storm was a thing. Again, the thing against this theory that everyone died in a storm or an attack is that there's still no mass grave or a lot of bodies found. So that's what like makes all of this really complicated. And there's another theory that the colony could have resorted to cannibalism, and that's a thing. There's no like real like evidence for or against this theory, so I doubt that's what happened.
Imagine you would still find bones though, even if there was cannibalism.
Yeah. Well, some of the things I was reading, they were like, if they're cannibals, they could have like used the bones for other things, or you know, they like bowls or tools or but I find that very unlikely. And the last theory is that aliens got them. So, which
we're gonna go with that.
Yeah. I saw that a few times and I don't want to acknowledge it, but like I saw it enough times where I felt like I should mention it. Is that the theory you're gonna go with?
No. The 2 conclusions that I started to gather was that either they traveled west, more inland, but I think there was a video where the guy was like, I don't think that's likely, but it seemed like a highly likely one was that they actually went to Croatoan Island.
Yeah.
And like because they needed help surviving, so they went to go see that tribe or whatever and help them. But you know, it seems like it's still very much a mystery. What is the one that you think is likely?
I believe they went to Croatoan Island or just assimilated with a tribe, but I also believe that they probably were killed off by 1607. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if by 1607 they were all just murked. So,
I like that.
The murked. Have you never heard me say that before? Just, yeah.
No, that's a first for you, Sydney.
John White eventually returned to England just 6 weeks after getting back to Roanoke, and he died in 1593, 3 years later, never knowing what happened to the colony or his family. Which is the sad part for me, because like he thought he was returning to his wife, his daughter, his grandkid. He's going to come back a hero with all these supplies and everything, and then just never knew what happened to them.
Yeah, that's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to me that I would think that at the very least going back to England, knowing that it's going to be a minimum of 4 to 5 months.
Yeah.
That you would leave your family members behind, particularly your wife and child. I don't know. I just think that, like, given that it's a new world, you know nothing about this place that you're leaving people, that you would leave, you know, the rest of the colonists, you guys can stay.
He couldn't bring home a whole bunch of people. They didn't have a lot of food. Like, whatever food they had left, he left with the colonists because they needed it more. It was also, like, a lot of being naive, too. Like,
yeah. Like,
first of all, it's naive to think you're going to go to the new world and be successful and only bring like a little bit amount of food, and like it's all around naive to think this is going to be a good idea in the first place, especially since this was the first colony.
I'm gonna leave you here for 4 months and I'll be back.
Yeah.
There's a Chili's right over there.
Why Chili's? I
used to work there. I don't know.
Yeah. What's your order at Chili's?
What's my, like, what do I order?
Yeah.
I have not been in years, but when I used to work there, they used to have this barbecue ranch burger, and they used to have their tangy barbecue sauce on it, and they used to also put ranch on it, and it was
okay.
That was like my burger. About that. And the chips and salsa was good.
Okay, so I order the fajitas because I know everyone's gonna look at me. Yeah, I know I'm the worst. I don't care. The way it sizzles, I want all the attention in the world.
I love that for you.
Just a reminder that I'm a Leo, so this all checks out.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. This is it. We made it.
We made it.
I didn't know if we were gonna make it, but we made it. This is the look for today. Yeah? Thoughts?
It's not full on drag.
It's not.
That's cool.
This is subtle.
This is subtle?
This is subtle.
I can only imagine what not subtle is.
Yeah, I could have done a full cut crease with bedazzles and shit if I wanted to, but I went subtle for you. Did you get them all right? You got them all right? Mm-hmm. Wow, look at you go! Doing your research. Hey. Okay. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell in the corner to be notified every time I post a video. We have a lot of fun things coming up. Maybe I'll Chris on again if he's not scared of this look. Sorry. I listed down below all the makeup that I used on my face today and the makeup that I used on Chris's face. And I also listed the research down below too, so feel free to check it out. There's a lot that I had to take out for the sake of time in this video, but there's a lot about Roanoke that's really interesting, as you know, because you went down the rabbit hole. So feel free to check that out. That's all for now. Remember, y'all, don't make up your history.